Welcome to the Makai Sentai podcast. I am Dani, your host, and this is actually a special episode. This is a special episode of the Makai Sentai podcast. Joining me today is Hayzink, and this is actually part 2, a continuation of the discussion that we started over on Hayzink's channel. If you want to see and hear the first part of that discussion, well, not really see it, you'll hear it. You'll hear the first part of the discussion on his channel. There's a link in the description below. So please head over there and listen to the first part to get the full conversation, which will be not really necessary for part 2, but you might want to listen to some other topics that we've covered, like the new update, Sagi, and the collaborations that are coming up starting with 7 Deadly Sins. So if you want to do that, go right ahead. We're going to start here and continue the conversation. So Hayzink, where were we? We were talking about we're talking about 7 Deadly Sins there, weren't we?
Yeah, I threw that in there as a little bit of a kind of, I don't know what word to use here, a little bit of a taster, a little bit of a something for people to look forward to. It's on the horizon, so it's good to have it in people's thoughts, because like I said in a video that I put out, maybe that should come into your line of thinking when you're summoning for a Sagi. Should you go all in? Should you go for characters who never come back? My thought process is you should maybe save for characters you're never going to see again, because with a Sagi and Bulk Trend being completely different from JP, I honestly don't think Bulk Trend will make us wait 6 months for a Sagi to come back. I think they'll probably have a Sagi back twice before the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, to be honest, what happened to me is that whenever I was watching some of your older videos, you kept going on for the past couple of months about the 7 Deadly Sins having unique characters that don't return, and to be honest, hammering that home every over months sold me on that. You convinced me.
Well,
make that as an important thing. It's like, shit, you're right. This unit is not coming back. I must get it.
That's how I see it. I mean, again, I'm not trying to diminish anyone's hype for a Sagi or anything like that, but if you've got the choice between summoning for a character now who comes back in if they follow JP's structure, comes back in 6 months' time on a better banner with better rates and pity, versus a set of characters who never return, then to me it's a no-brainer. You should probably target the characters that never return as your main aim. And the thing is, this is only something that I've started to think about lately. On JP, New Year Rosalind came out and then she came back at the 6 month anniversary.
Yeah.
How many times have we had New Year Rosalind on Global? How many times? I mean,
many already. She's been repeated a lot, and she's got her solo banner.
I think that personally, Bulk Trend have I don't mean to sound crude, but I think they've got a hard on for reruns, and they like to run reruns. And I'm sorry, if a Sagi turns out to be their most profitable, most popular banner, they are going to rerun her. Unless there's something baked into the contract where they cannot do that, they will rerun a Sagi before the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point, because it's obviously been repeating banners more often on Global, and the only reason why they would do that is if it makes sense from a profit point of view. You know what I mean? If there's demand for those characters, if there's demand for those banners, and they're being pulled on, they absolutely will and are happy to repeat things out of schedule with JP. You know what I mean? They'll do their own thing.
Strangely enough, I feel like the beauty pageant summon and the school summon, the one with not Crane Kick, the one with Needleworker and Raspberry, and also the Defenders of the Earth summon, I feel the only reason that those guys have been repeated is because they're trying to squeeze in as many repeats as possible before they're added to the general pool, because once they're added to the general pool, those banners are never going to see the light of day again.
Well, that makes sense from a financial perspective. That makes sense. They're getting value out of the product while it still has its shelf life.
Exactly. Although advertising the Defenders of the Earth banner to come out 1 week before we get an updated pool, and you get those characters in every single banner.
It's cheeky. It is fucking cheeky. If they did it at a discount, I wouldn't have minded. If that banner came out this week with a discount, that would have been good promo, would it not? Would that not be a tempting promo for them to do? Just make that banner at discount, 50%.
They don't need to do that. They just made it the middle line of the puzzle.
You're right. Actually, no. To be fair, Bullet Ran really did a good move with the puzzle this week, and putting those 3 characters in there. Most people playing the game right now will have at least one of 3 of those characters, at least. Just by playing the game, you're almost bound to have at least one of them.
Hopefully,
and I think that was a really good move.
Hopefully, if you've only got one of them, hopefully it's Thursday, because you get 1,500 quartz if you've got Thursday.
Oh yeah, I was very happy.
Yes.
One time ever playing this game, I was actually happy about having the Defenders of the Earth. What the hell?
Yeah, man. I agree. I actually don't mind them. I don't like Gordon. To be honest, from the actual story, from Disgaea 1, I was never sold on the Defenders. They were never like my...
Oh man, no, in the story, Gordon and Thursday! Oh man, you're missing out. The Defenders of the Earth in the story in D1 are a highlight.
You think so?
To me personally, yeah. Just the silliness, the retro sci-fi chic with zombies. You know, it was something different and added to that unique flavor that Disgaea 1 has. And to me, Disgaea 1 is easily the best of the Disgaea games in terms of story and characters. And it's Gordon and Thursday and Jennifer as the supporting cast of that game that just helps solidify that game's status in my eyes.
I mean, I feel we're going to go off on a tangent here, but the thing about Disgaea 1 is Disgaea 1 classically has always been what I consider to be my favourite Disgaea. However, Disgaea 4 runs it really close, and I love Disgaea 1 and I love Disgaea 4. I think my heart still wants to say Disgaea 1 is my favourite Disgaea, but I really, really like Disgaea 4. Like, I really like Disgaea 4.
Oh man, I could sit here and talk for hours about the Disgaea games. Which one's my favorite? Which mechanics? Which version of the item world I like best? Oh, it's been a pleasure as a fan to see them grow the franchise, because they do missteps. There's been games like I was never really a big fan of Disgaea 3. I really wasn't a big fan of Disgaea 2 either. But I've stuck with the franchise.
But I like Disgaea 3's classroom. See the classroom dynamic where you've got the characters where you place them in the classroom, if whoever's on the desk next to them can build XP off them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like that more basic one than the grid thing that they did at Disgaea 4. You know how in Disgaea 4 you put down certain items, you put down certain squares, those squares had blocks, those blocks get different bonuses. I didn't like that as much as I just like the basic... There's some school tables. The characters you've got at these tables will get bonuses depending on who's next to them, etc. I like that one better, to be honest. I did like that part of Disgaea 3.
Yeah, the thing about the whole franchise, I like the item world from one game. I like the Asura. I like the parroting from the other game. That you can pick and choose, because some games they have sometimes some of the features take a downwards trend. Like item world for the past 2 games has been very poor. Because other features of the game have been better. They've been put more attention onto it. And I feel like with every new entry in the franchise, they always press the reset button. It's like, okay, what are they going to change up this time? What are they going to add to the formula this time? And to be honest, I think Disgaea 6 is a bit of a step backwards content-wise, because they spent so much effort stuffing in 3D models and trying to do that next generation leap. Whenever they had 5 was like a massive base of content to grow from. And they kind of threw out the baby with the bathwater, getting rid of the sprites, because they kind of got rid of half the content at the same time. That's how I feel about it.
However, you would still rank Disgaea 6 above Disgaea 2.
No, actually, I wouldn't. No? 2's very solid. 2, the only disappointing thing about 2 is actually a really strong game. The only disappointing thing about 2, and it's very disappointing, is the story. I hate it. It's horrid. It's the weakest Disgaea story in the whole franchise, but mechanically, it's easily like top tier, top three easily.
No, that's fair. But let's get back to Disgaea RPG. Didn't mean to take you off on a massive tangent.
Oh, it's a podcast. I can use this later. Don't worry. But yes, returning to Disgaea 6 collaboration. That's something we want to bring up. The collaboration event in game, and they also did an external promo on the website. They wanted to get word out to celebrate Disgaea 6's release on the Switch in the West, and they kind of missed the launch date of Disgaea 6 by a wee bit.
Yeah, they didn't have. I feel like, to be honest, because there's not like an event, there's not a story event, there's not a need to have characters that aren't out yet or anything like that. Really, I don't see why they didn't just do this in line with Disgaea 6. I mean, Zed's a good character, but I wouldn't say that he's broken beyond the point that if they had released this when Disgaea 6 launched, we would be at an early advantage or anything like that. To be honest, even if they didn't release the banner, even if they just gave you the one copy of Zed, for example, I don't see why they held off. There's not a real logic behind that to me. I feel they should have just done it, ridden the hype of Disgaea 6 and released this collab type thing. I don't want to call it a collab. Is it a collab when it's your own franchise? I just feel like they should have.
I have a theory, right? I have a theory behind all this, and tell me what you think of it. So, I figure the game's versions are locked to the content. So, Disgaea 6 content is locked to whatever version of the game that's like 1 point whatever higher than our current version. So that means that if they wanted to put out the Disgaea 6 content earlier, they would have had to have that earlier version, that new, higher version of the game, out earlier. And the thing is, they can't do that because the content and the game version are tied together. So features are tied to content. So things like we're getting now with the level cap increase and all this stuff that's coming, that's directly tied to the Asagi content. You couldn't just take Asagi and bring her into the game before, say, like the character tokens. You know what I mean? Like all those come as one big package. And that's something I don't think people realize, that like Pity, for example. Pity is actually a mechanic in the game. It's a function. And I don't think earlier versions of the game have that code. And the problem is you can't just insert later features in the older code, because that code has to follow the upgrade path of the original game. And if you insert features into that original code, it will not be as compatible. It'll create issues whenever it catches up, essentially, to the updated version that feature was originally put into the game from. That makes sense? Sorry, I'm being too technical. Just tell me I'm talking shite.
You've pretty much nailed it. That is the reason why, you're right. But it's still the same. You know, you just feel like a lot of the timing around this game could have been better. Like, like literally, they could have just looked a bit further ahead and decided, right, maybe we don't launch this game in April, maybe we try and get it out for February
or January or anything. Yeah, try and get it out earlier, make it help the publisher in advance, essentially. You know what I mean, with the timing. But I think in this case, it's the publisher is stuck with the content, you can't just put it all out one day. You can't just put out 7 updates in a day and say, oh, we're caught up now. You know what I mean? That wouldn't make any sense. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because they have to put it out in a pace that makes sense. But at the same time, people are demanding, now, we want this feature now, damn it. And they're trying their best to try and appease that demand, whilst at the same time, it's mostly out of their hands.
No, I mean, that's a fair point. I would agree with that. It still would have just been nice to get the content out with Disgaea 6, you know, ride the hype train a little bit. Do a bit of
it's a misboat. Absolutely. It's like, who the fuck cares about Disgaea 6's launch? It's launched. You know what's happening right now? They're promoting the 10th DLC, damn it. The 10th DLC. So, like, we've missed the launch hype for Disgaea 6. I'm sorry. It's awesome that we're getting it, and I'm happy we're getting it, but they've missed the boat.
100%.
So, speaking of boats and missing out, the puzzle boat, the puzzle pieces, and the puzzle hunt. What are your thoughts on it? Do you have any?
I think it's very silly. I feel like it's a missed opportunity, basically. The reason I'm saying that is because we've obviously now seen that as the puzzles progressed, a lot of the characters, well, so far all of the characters that were added after the 2 gym girls were characters we previously had. Characters that were rerun banners, okay? So there's a lot of people sitting there who probably log into the game and they just see the red mark and it's, oh, I've unlocked that square. Without having to do anything, they've unlocked that square. I touched on this in a video I done on my channel, Danny. I feel like the biggest thing that they could do for this puzzle mode is change it. So when this puzzle mode finishes, do not instantly release a new puzzle mode. Wait until the 1st of the month. At that point, we've already got the roadmap. You can reveal all the squares because we know what banners are coming. It's not a secret. You're not hiding anything from us anymore. You can just show all of the squares and people can look at that and go, oh, I only need to summon for 3 of those 6 characters. Sorry, 3 of those 9 characters because I already have 6. They might then go ahead and summon. Whereas by keeping them all hidden, people think, oh, I'm not summoning for 9 characters just to unlock. For next month, for example, Kildare. But then as the month progresses, they find out, oh, damn it, I only actually had to summon for 2 of those characters. And they start to feel a bit hard done by. Now,
Yeah,
some people might
I think you make a
argue-
really good point on that. Yeah.
I mean, some people might argue that, oh, but it's your fault for not summoning. It's like, well, I mean, not really, because you don't have to summon on every banner. Like, you probably, in fact, you probably shouldn't summon on every banner. It's not a good way to play the game.
Actually, no, you make a really good point. What I think you're getting to the heart of is really important. It's knowing in advance. Whenever you know in advance, you can predict. You can save up, you can look forward to things. And that's something that they missed out on because how can you look forward to a question mark? How can you plan for a fucking question mark? Why was there, like, I looked at the puzzle piece board, right? There was 6 question marks. And like more than half the time, almost half the time for the time limit had expired.
Yep.
And like 2/3 of the thing was still question marks. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? What?
Oh, yeah.
I just couldn't deal with it. I was like, okay, I just X'd it out. I was like, why even bother thinking about it? It's just, I might get lucky, I might not. I don't know. I don't really care. And then whenever we actually got the update yesterday, I think it was. We actually got the board updated with the characters. It's filled in, and turns out, oh, by the way, I have all of them. I got all of the rewards, and it was awesome.
Yep.
That was a nice surprise. But at the same time, I would have appreciated the ability to plan out my spending, plan out my game plan. That would give me confidence because I want to, whenever I know what I have to get, I have a lot more confidence when I'm spending what I'm saving for. And they took that away from me.
It's not only that as well. People are all already being slightly sucker punched because most people probably expected a Sagi to be on that puzzle. And while it's not all been revealed yet, what's the date today? It's the 6th.
6th.
Probably won't have this video out. I mean, if I say this and it's too early, then oh well. With the next 2 puzzle pieces being Fenric and Artina, people probably pretty much now realise that Asagi's not one of the people on the banner. Because even if Asagi is on the banner, I find it very doubtful that they're going to decide, oh, Overlord Asagi is going to take up the last spot. If Asagi was going to be on that banner, it would be the same as the Gym Girls. It would be Human and Overlord Asagi. They're not going to pick and choose what one. So we already know Asagi's not going to be on that puzzle banner. So
that would be a hell of a surprise if it was, though. You have to admit, that would be a hell of a surprise.
It's not going to happen. I reckon the last piece is probably going to be Zeroken, but we'll see. We'll see what it actually turns out to be. Depending on when this video goes out, it's a podcast, whatever. People will probably already know because, unless I'm mistaken, I think tomorrow is when the Platinum Summon characters come back on the game. So we should see a Fenric banner and stuff like that. So by the point this video goes live, I think all will be revealed. But having known for most of the month what those, I wasn't actually showing. I don't know if I actually showed you, Danny. I was sent a picture with all the squares blurred out, but the blurring was really bad. I was I could see the hair of every character they'd blurred out, and I'm like,
you see the pixels, the giveaway pixels. You zoomed in like CSI. You zoomed in on the pixels.
I did. The only one that threw me off, I'll be honest, was Magnus. I thought Magnus with the red hair. I actually thought that was Kildare with the red hair, but it turned out it was Magnus. That was the only one I wasn't able to predict. But
actually, the lack of Kildare is actually a good point because there isn't really any major high targets on that list. It's relatively standard rate units. There's nothing outlandish. Like if you're trying to go out of your way to complete that, like you wouldn't have to worry too much. Like a badass is on there or something.
Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of banners that people probably would rather skip.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to look at it. Is that what they're going to do? Going forward, are they going to use that puzzle to... Which makes sense from a business point of view. Are they going to use it to entice people to summon on banners they might have previously skipped?
Hmm.
I mean,
Well, I think
makes
one
sense.
thing they have to do next time, right? I think we can both agree here. I don't care for a level 2000 Awakened Rosalind. Like, that is not something that makes me go, yes, I will seek this stuff out. This is worth of my time and spending. It's not.
No,
You have to
I'd
do
rather
better.
have... I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, and it's actually a vastly superior reward. But I'd rather have free any printies.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's that exactly. The unit is so weak, you'd rather have some items. It's like, come on.
It's not that she's weak. I just feel like anyone who completes that puzzle board, yes, there'll be a few outliers, but in general, anyone that completes that puzzle board probably already summons on badass banners and probably already has Rosalind. They've probably already invested any printies in her, and they've probably got her above level 2000. So realistically, all she is an any printy at that stage.
Which is ironic because with the lack of badass characters on the banner itself, they're not targeting people who buy and pull on that banner. They're not targeting those players at all with that.
Well, the thing is, I said this to Gacha, and shout out to Gacha, he's still in well in hospital. Everyone sends their love to him and all that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the thing is, I spoke to him about this and what I thought they could do. Now, this might seem a little bit out there for some people, but if, for example, we know that Fuka is coming. Fuka is coming at the end of this month. She is a September badass, although, let's be honest, in reality, she's really an October badass.
Early October, yeah.
Have the puzzle finish the day that she comes out. Have her as the reward for completing the puzzle. Try and do that. Have the new badass character as the reward. Because let's be completely honest here, people might say, oh, well, they're not going to give you the new badass character for free. Like,
Yeah.
mate, are you paying attention? You know the amount of times you're going to have to summon to complete that board? It's not for free.
It's not free. Yeah, absolutely.
Know? So I think that would be a good change to it, and it's a reward that's going to suit everyone. There's no one that wouldn't suit. Whereas right now they are giving out a reward that's probably not going to suit a lot of people. People will take it because it's free, but me, for example, I'm at the stage where I'm like, right, so am I going to use 2 New Year Rosalind now? Because realistically, I don't want to take mine higher than any 7. I don't care about any 8, 9, and 10, to be honest. As long as I get them to any 7, in my head, they're done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. The thing is, I don't have an NE7 yet, so I'll just eat it whenever I get it. I mean, okay, that's one less printy I have to use in future. It's not exactly a big deal for myself, unfortunately.
Well, that's fine, but then the whole point of her being level 2000 is kind of pointless at that stage then.
Yep. Like I said, it's going to be it. Whenever I get the unit, it's going to be it within a minute. And It's like, what's the point? But I can understand, like, they're not trying to target people who pull on the badass banners, because with no badass targets, they're targeting people who aspire to that. That's why they're giving a badass character away. They want people who don't, that specific group of players, to want to get a free badass without doing the badass banner.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
But speaking of predictions, then let's look at the battle pass. I know there's a lot of discussion on the Discord about what's going to be happening with the battle pass, because we got Asalia as our first battle pass reward character, and I think that was a very generous choice on their part. It helped me build my Asalia army. Before Overlord Sagi is out, I have 5 living Asalias in my collection. So yeah, I was thankful. Thank you, Battle Pass.
Yeah, I don't have 5. I have 3, but all 3 of mine are NE7.
Oof! Oh, yours are better. Like mine's are all +1. I'm not even. I haven't done. Oh my, you're ready. I'm not ready. You're ready. Okay.
I was going to go 4, but I decided that I knew down the line I was going to go the healer route. So I didn't see the point in doing 4 and investing any levels into a character who I knew didn't have a long-term future in my team. So that's why I decided to go 3.
Well, that makes sense. Well, what I'm doing with my 5, I'm feeding them to each other. eventually. You know what I mean? I'll only need 4. I think is 4 the optimum amount whenever a certain other character comes out in future.
Well,
So
I mean, 4's only the
3 or
optimal
4.
amount. 4's only the optimal amount if you're not going to run healing. And again, right now you don't need healing, but later you probably will need healing. So having her, we know who you're talking about. You're talking about the Sagi build, obviously.
Yeah. My plan was to keep 2 of them at +5, and then feed one +5 to the other +5 whenever the healer in future comes out to replace it.
I think the ideal build, to be honest, is free Usalia, Lizrota when she comes out, which I think may actually be next month on Global.
Really? That's it?
I think so. I'm not 100% on that, but looking at the roadmap, we get, is it Salvatore, and who's the other guy? He's like a cowboy with a gun. You might remember his name off the top of your head. I'm trying to look up his picture just now.
I thought Ivar was coming shortly.
Is Ivar not a Disgaea 5 character?
Yeah, he's one of the Disgaea 5 ones.
Diaz, Salvatore.
Oh, Diaz. Yeah. I forgot. Diaz. Yeah.
So they come. Then I think it's Void Dark, I believe.
And oh god, he haunts me in JP. I can't stand that guy in JP. Well, he follows me everywhere.
The thing is, from looking at the way the characters come out, unless Void Dark comes out himself, I think Lizrota might be on Void Dark's banner with him. I'm not sure though, but I don't think we're that far away from her, to be honest.
That sounds fun.
But that's
sooner than I was expecting as well. It sounds fun, sooner than I was expecting.
It might not be that soon, but I mean, I think we're in the ballpark of not being that far away from,
Well, you can see I have an Salia upgrade path planned out. You know what I mean? So it's exorbitant having 5 right now, but they'll all be fed, and it'll make sense in future. I really just wanted to do an Asagi main build. Asagi was my choice from day one, and I was like, if I'm doing it from day one, I'm doing a main build from day one. You know what I mean? So that was just how it was going to be.
No, that's definitely fair. But no, back to the Battle Pass. You asked for predictions. I completely threw you off there.
No worries. This is a nice little tangent.
I have some predictions. Now, my predictions are more based on logic than they are on reason, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And what I want to say is this. I know that the Disgaea Battle Pass is not coming out until either the 16th or the 20th, right? Mm-hmm. Now, at first I was told the 16th, but then I was told the 20th, okay? Now, what people tend to want to do, sensible people like that develop games, they tend to want to promote new things when they have something that allows them to promote new things. Mm-hmm. What is Disgaea about to add to the game? Character shards. So what would be an ideal outlet to promote character shards? The Battle Pass. So I feel like we may get character shards on there rather than a character.
I think that would make a lot of sense with how the game feels on JP right now in terms of how they use those shards. That would make all the sense in preparing the global players for that kind of use. So that would make sense to me. Absolutely.
But the problem there comes, who do they put on there? Now, with them waiting until the 20th, I know who I fear that they're going to put on there.
Oh?
Well,
you fear someone putting on there? Why would you fear someone being put on there?
What happens on the 20th?
Let me check that roadmap.
You don't need to check the roadmap, I'll tell you. We get Zed for free because that's when the Disgaea 6 collab drops.
Oh, yeah.
So, what if they put character shards on there for Zed?
Oof, that would be interesting.
Would it really? Because when we come to the Disgaea 6 event in game, Zed becomes a redeemable free-to-play character. Without any input from anything, you can get Zed to NE7 for free in this game.
Oh.
So if we take our free character, Japan could only get him to NE6, but we're getting this extra copy of him. So if we can get Zed already, naturally, for free to NE7, me personally, I would not want anything to do with him on the Battle Pass. Because yes, some people might argue, but you can use them faster. You can get them up to an NE level faster. My brain said my brain won't let me take a character to NE 10 because I know eventually I'm going to get Kildare's training. Not Kildare's training, Adele's training. So I don't take characters to NE 10. I take them to NE 9 and I stop because I know eventually I can get that NE level for free. So to me, putting any NE levels on Zed, to me, is a waste. Because I know from his free-to-play event I'm going to be able to get him to NE 7. So why would I want to invest anything into that character? So if they do happen to do Zed, me personally, I would find it very hard when I do my Battle Pass review to say this Battle Pass is a must-buy. That's why I hope they don't put Zed anywhere near that Battle Pass. But the fact that it's potentially coming out on the 20th, why else would they wait to the 20th?
Very good point, but I don't think I can dispute that. Actually, that would make far too much sense, and at the same time, I wouldn't want it at that point either. Like, you make a good, compelling case for why that wouldn't be desirable.
But see, you were all up for it until I reminded you that you can get him to any 7.
Yeah, that's the thing. On the surface, it sounds fantastic. It's like, oh shit, I can get another copy or whatever. Yeah, it sounds great on the surface, but then whenever you pointed it out, it's like, no, that's actually a worse deal than we could have otherwise have another unit. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. No, I'm definitely wanting someone else at this point. What do you think about Asagi? What have they threw in Asagi on there as a tease?
They won't. Anyone who's a member of my Discord will know because I told them. I pitched an idea to Boltrand. I pitched the idea. I don't know if you've seen it, Danny. I think you may have. I pitched an idea where what they could do is on the free-to-play path, you would get a legendary gun. Just after that legendary gun, you would get a copy of. I just put a random character in there, Axel, on the free-to-play side, right? But on the pay-to-play side, so on the paid version, on the exact same spot, you would get a legendary monster weapon, and the character you would get on the Battle Pass would be Human Asagi. Now, my logic behind that was, if I was looking at it from a business point of view, as well as from what players could benefit from, and I thought, right, if people get a legendary gun, that's Asagi's weapon, they are then going to be inclined to get the paid Battle Pass because they already have the gun that's going to go onto Asagi. If they pull Overlord Asagi, they're going to get the paid Battle Pass because there's going to be a legendary monster weapon on there that they can put straight onto Overlord Asagi. Not to mention the fact they're going to get Human Asagi. I also said that I don't feel like it devalues the banner because the majority, not all, but the majority of people will still summon because they want a copy of Overlord Asagi. But if they get Human Asagi for free on the Battle Pass or paid at $9.99 on the paid Battle Pass, it will soften the blow if they don't do well on the banner. Unfortunately, it was rejected, so we're not getting it.
I can kind of understand why, because you're dipping into the main appeal of the update. The Asagi is the appeal of the update, and you're basically slicing it up. Even though it makes sense with how you're pitching it and how you're explaining it, and I think that would make a very compelling Battle Pass, to be honest. But their point of view probably is they don't want to risk piecemealing the package. Like, the only way to get Asagi in any form is they throw your money down on the banner, get the quartz spent on the banner, and that seems to be like the safest option for them to take. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that kind of makes sense in that point of view.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, it's completely fair.
So if it's not going to be Asagi, it's not going to be Zed. What about, you suggested earlier, potentially Fuka? Xena Fuka?
Oh, that would be a bold move. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. To be honest, I think that they are far likely to be vanilla, and my prediction for the Battle Pass is, I've got two predictions. Either they don't give us a character at all, and they give us character shards for Zed, or they decide to replace the NE Prinnies with character shards, which I think would be a massive downgrade.
But it makes more sense from their perspective. Like, the shards sound like the thing you would want to substitute in for any pennies in most cases, because then you make the any pennies when you distribute them that bit more special.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, but I think to the actual casual player, I think that that's a hit they're not going to want to take. See, I try, and obviously my exposure on a daily basis is to a random assortment of players. I speak to players ranging from free to play, dolphins, whales, even some, I think what you would call, what's above a whale? Megalodons or something like that. There's some crazy name for something above a whale. But I've spoken to them all, and everyone has a different general opinion on this game. And yes, Bolt Trend of playing this balancing act where it's very hard to cater to that entire audience, which is obviously the case with anything. But I just feel like most of the average players would see getting character shards in place of universal any levels as a bit of a downgrade.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah, no, I would agree with you in general. Like I find that obviously the any pennies are more universally applicable. Like that's the point of them. So they're the reason why they introduced the character shards, I believe, anyway, into the game was to depreciate the use of the any pennies to get to restore the value proposition of them. Especially in a game where you need to commercialize and keep the value relevant to the game content, if that makes sense.
Well, they don't value them the same. I mean, if you just look at the character shard shop as an example, for every 10 character shards you trade in, you get 1 any prinny. So they obviously value the character shards at about 10 times less than prinny hide. I mean, just going by their own conversion of what they're worth, that is the case. They obviously see a universal dupe as being 10 times more valuable than a character specific dupe.
Absolutely. That's how they retain the value and keep it relevant. Because think about it, it's a launch item. It's in the game since day one, and the game is constantly evolving, and value is constantly changing. So they keep that one item and make sure that it's always worth something to everyone, no matter when they play the game. That's kind of important. Especially as well, do they sell them directly as well? You can't like buy any printies for cash, so you have to make sure the cash value is also relevant, don't you?
No, that's 100% true. The only thing that I think they should do, I don't really know how they would implement this, and obviously they would need to implement it on the JB side before they could do it on global. I feel like if you've got, let's say 200 character shards for a character you don't have, you should be able to trade that for the character. Like most games have a shard, not most games, but most games that have a shard system. The first 100 shards you get will unlock the character, and then at that point onwards you start using those shards as like a method of duping your character. So I feel like there should be something in place where if you don't have a character, there should be a certain amount of shards that you can trade in and eventually get a copy of that character.
You're suggesting that change the game beyond what's on JP. Then you think that's a change that they need just to make full stop, even though it's not in the game in any way at all?
I just feel like, for example, the battle pass, if they start making it a monthly thing where they give character shards in place of something else, any person who doesn't have that character, that battle pass immediately becomes far less of a value proposition to them.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, what if then instead of just character shards, they substitute it with the printy hides? That's commonly used. They substitute. They're basically generic shards, are they not?
Yeah, I mean, basically just keep it as it is just now. Yeah, I mean, I think, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I feel like Bolt Trend with the Battle Pass is kind of set its stall. It's put it out there that people are now going to expect, if people do not get a free character on this Battle Pass this month, they're going to be raging. They're not going to be happy because they've came out the gate, month one, here's a free character. Not only is it a free character, it's a highly desirable free character, and you can get it absolutely free without spending a penny. People are now going to expect that every month.
Yeah, absolutely. They set the standard and they set their own expectations, and
yeah,
they have the obligation to live up to them now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been honest about it. I've never lied about this. I think they made a mistake. I feel like they obviously want to sell the Battle Pass. And generating revenue for this game is good for the lifespan of this game, because if the game's generating revenue, it's not going to go anywhere. I feel like they could have just put Quartz or something in Usalia's paid place and put Usalia on the paid side. People would have still seen that as exceptional value, and most people would probably have still purchased that battle pass. In fact, they would have got more sales on that battle pass. But what they've done now is they've backed themselves into a corner where people are just going to expect something of that level every month on the free side. And
Yeah,
to be honest,
honestly, the way you're putting that across, I would expect them to even risk not doing that. Like next month, they might even do what you're saying and put it on the other side, but it's going to be too late. There will be a backlash of some kind.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the backlash they got for the character. I am in the minority here, but look at the backlash they got for the character bonus rates. Now, JP obviously has different bonuses depending on the characters, and Global tried to go back to that system, and you've seen it. Global Shaft, we've been screwed over. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I can't believe we're being treated this way. But they actually just lined the game up with JP, and I still feel like eventually they're going to go back to that, because there comes a point where I don't know exactly when it is. It might be the 1 anniversary. I'm not sure. But with character bonuses, it ends up being affected by any levels. So, for example, in JP right now, if you pull the new unit on a banner, you get a 100% bonus. And if you have that character at any 10, which is obviously a lot, but if you have that character at any 10, that one character will give you a 200% bonus.
Right? Are you talking about the event bonus points? Yeah.
So how is Global going to manage that when that update comes into play? Because if they're giving you 30% for every character, when they start factoring in NE levels, that means they're potentially giving you 60% for every character on your team. And if you just so happen to have pulled the 2 new units and you've got them at a high NE level, you're going to be getting like a 600 or a 700% bonus. And I just can't see them sticking with it.
No.
And I just feel like eventually they are going to go back to the system of matching JP.
Well, it makes sense because you just pointed out a really good example of how that would just negatively hurt the economy, because that would create instant inflation. Those percentages are not intended. So no, you're right. They have to course correct at some point. It's only a matter of when.
But the problem I've got with that, and I think I mentioned this on the first podcast I was on your channel, and we talked about ripping off the Band-Aid and stuff like that. The longer they leave it to do that, the more of an impact it's going to have on the players. Because the players, if they continually go with this 30% bonus across the board, the day that they take that away, it's just going to be people up in arms saying that they've been shafted. And ultimately it does move to a better system, because you are able to gain points outside of the event and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't think it's sustainable that they keep this 30% bonus across the board, and it is going to change, but it's just a matter of when it actually happens.
Yeah, I would hope with an update as big as we're getting, it'd be a good opportunity to sort of ease it in, but there's never going to be a good time. You know what I mean? There's never going to be a good time. They may as well just get it done.
Yeah, there won't be. The last time people were threatening to quit the game and stuff like that over it, even though now they give us the pots, and to be honest, they could do it now. They could literally do it right now. The biggest argument for them not doing it with everyone that was playing was, we don't get AP pots. So because we don't get AP pots, we deserve this extra bonus. Now we do get AP pots. And I now, from this event, even though I grinded I think I must have grinded 6 or 7 million points. I got a lot of points. I have more pots now than I had when I started my grind, because by the time you buy your daily pots, and you can continually buy your daily pots, you get the ones from you end up in a positive net gain. So technically I feel like they're going to have to go back to that. People won't like that. People will think that I'm encouraging them to change the system. I just don't think it's sustainable, and the quicker they change it, the faster people can get used to it. That's just my point of view on it.
Yeah, exactly. Rip the Band-Aid off already.
Exactly.
Alrighty, here. I think we covered the majority of the topics across both of our parts of this special weird extended podcast.
There's one thing that we've missed out, Danny, and we need to talk about it. It's vitally important. It's vitally important.
Okay. What is it?
Obviously, we had the community polls. In the community polls, we had certain characters coming out and winning community polls. We had Usalia, we had Girolaharo, we had other characters.
Yeah.
But where the hell did Fenric come from? Fenric wasn't even in the top 10, and we're getting a banner for Fenric's character selection. No one voted for Fenric. Why? Why have they given us a player's choice Fenric banner? I do not understand.
Did he win like a Joker card or something? Like there's like some special prize because he wasn't voted in. He was not voted in.
The only thing I can think of is I think Dark Artina and I think Pure Sicily squeaked in at the bottom, and now obviously they got their banner. So I think at that point they decided, right, okay, we're not going to count those two. We'll move to the next two down. But I still don't think Fenric was one of the next two down. I think Fenric was very far down the list. And I just don't know where they've pulled Fenric from because there's a few reasons. One, yes, in Disgaea 4, he's a good character, kinda. I'm not mad for Fenric. I don't dislike him, I'm not mad for him. But in this game, he's not exactly a good, desirable unit. You know what I mean? He's built very strange. He's not actually that good.
The thing is, right, when that community poll came out and I seen how people were voting, it was kind of obvious people were voting based on the hype of the moment. Because those choices made no sense. Anyone who's playing this game long term would not have made those choices. You know what I mean? The community just wanted what they wanted immediately without thinking of, oh, what's this game going to be like in 2 or 3 months? What will you have then? Yep. Because this was an opportunity for the community to basically get whatever the heck they wanted. We could literally just tell the devs, give us a chance at this character again, and we were guaranteed to get it. So it was like, why did we squander it? Salia was a good choice, by the way, for number 1. That was definitely a good choice.
Let's just cut to the chase here. You're talking about Garo Laharo.
Yes.
It's like, why did Garo Laharo get voted second? It's like, I was making videos saying, guys, you're wasting your vote. She's literally going to get added to the pool. You're going to get sick of the sight of this character in a few months' time. Why are you voting a chance for her to come back?
And they still fucking did. They still fucking voted for Girl Laharo. We still got, Harley. I think is the official name that they're going by now. Harley.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Where's Harley came from?
Harley comes from, I think it's referenced in the story dialogue, but it came from Disgaea 1, where Jennifer calls the Harl Harley, like a little cute nickname. And I was like, what? What? Why is that on the roadmap?
Okay. I don't even know, that's just weird to me. Laharo-chan or Garo Laharo, that's what the character shall be known as.
Yeah, Harley is Jennifer's nickname for the Harl.
Yeah, we'll just stick with Garo Laharo.
Exactly.
It was a bit of a weird one, and like I say, I just don't understand where they're pulling Fenric from. It just seems like a bit of a wasted vote, a bit of a mistake, and again, I do not really understand why they've decided to do that.
I agree with you, only on principle, because I didn't have Fenric, and this is my opportunity, so I'm going to take it, okay? So I'm happy, and this is entirely selfish. I'm happy for me.
Well, good luck, buddy.
I'm happy for me.
Good luck, because you're going to need them for that puzzle banner.
You're dang right. It's like, I need to now. I need to finish it now. I don't like it. I don't want it, but I have to now finish it. It's just one of those things. I've started it, and I need to finish. I'm so close. I can't let it not finish. So,
bit of Magnus Magnuson there. I've started, so I'll finish.
He really screwed me over. I spent 3 paid and only got him out of it. I was so angry with myself because I know my own RNG, and that's exactly what happens whenever I rely on my own luck. Despite the fact I was trying to pay to make it look better, and it didn't work, and I deserved it, you know?
Well, at least you got him. You could have went 6, so I wouldn't complain too much.
Well, Fenric has a chance to make me disappointed, so you never know.
Remember, he will not have guaranteed steps, and he also will not have guaranteed Foster. These player banner things, I don't know why people love them so much. They actually are not that good. But his paid banner will not have a guaranteed Foster, and it will not have steps.
So that's good luck.
In some senses, you might actually be better summoning on Zerokin and Artina's banner, because those will have guaranteed steps, but again, you've got a diluted pool, so maybe you won't get the character.
Yeah, I need Zerokin as well. I feel I'm being baited hard here. I may not even bother finishing this puzzle because stuff it. It's not worth losing my sanity in quartz over with a Sagi on the horizon.
Exactly. You need to really put some serious thought into that because you're just diminishing your pool of quartz to get Usagi. So I would
priorities. Absolutely, guys. Take your own priorities into consideration. Don't just blindly pull and just think about it, because otherwise you'll get screwed by RNG eventually. Just push that out as far as you can.
Exactamundo.
Alrighty, Hayzink, thank you very much for joining me this evening and doing this special, weird, double-parted episode across our channels.
No worries, mate.
You've been listening to a special episode of the Makai Sentai podcast. Thank you very much, and like and subscribe, leave a comment, do whatever you want. Thank you.